What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, we're going to talk about how the 10-year just shot well north of 4%, taking the Dow down by almost 400 points, and what has to be the busiest shopping spree inside of the Discord in the last 4 or 5 months. Is it really true that I just sold a stock that went up by 15%, only to buy another one that went down by an equal amount? All that and more coming right out. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, talk about action. If you're inside of the Discord, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Shout out, first of all, to all our Debbie Downers, our doom and gloomers, our glass half empty crowd, those ostriches, say that 10 times fast. They got your head stuck in the sand, because if you're looking at our core holdings right now, you're probably thinking, what's going on? What's going on? This guy who's right 94% of the time. This guy that's turned 10 grand into $250,000 in the last 22 months. We're underwater. And what the hell is this with selling MMAT? Isn't it gorgeous? Sold MMAT at 0597. Took a 28% loss on a half a position, was very small. Full disclosure, we bought it 2 months ago at 9 cents. It went to 11 3 days later on a Friday. I didn't pull the trigger. The following Monday, the fucking CEO does an offering at 8 cents, way below market. I put a yellow circle on it. I said, I'm not touching it personally ever again. And I was waiting for a time to get out. Well, today I bought 2 stocks, a biotech at $1.80 and change, and another stock that I mentioned last week. It's okay to mention it again, CRGE. Charging stock, along with NVVE. You might say to yourself, why in the world, for starters, are we in CRGE at 16 and change and NVVE again for a second time after a 32% profit, in at 10 and change, out at 14 and a change on Friday, back in again? Why are we in charging stocks when the entire EV market outside of you-know-what is falling apart? Well, one of the reasons, or one of the theories that these stocks are cranking again, is that the EV space is being held back due to a lack of convenience, right? There's not enough places to charge your fucking car. Well, if it's an election year, of which it is, and the current administration is going to get their ass wiped times 1,000 based on what happened in Iowa last night, it's not outside the realm of possibility that they're going to be handing out loans, grants, private and public investment to get these charging stations cranked up and across the country. And in both of these cases, they've got record numbers in the last 3 or 4 months. So CRGE shot from 8 cents to 35 last week. We bought the 61.8, now 75% retracement, 7 cents on MMAT. We bought the retracement. It got cut in half. The same thing with the biotech stock. It was $1.50, had an acquisition this morning, opened at 3.50, got as high as 4 where it came public back in November, dropped all the way down more than 60% when I started buying in the 190s. I currently own the stock in the 180s. Last trade $1.50. So what I sold is now at 7 cents, up 15 or 20%. And what I bought is down by an equal amount. Why do I think that that's the greatest thing since the Philadelphia Eagles and sliced bread? Getting their ass kicked, of course. Shaking the tree. You might notice, ladies and gentlemen, the beard is almost gone, right? It was getting awfully bushy. I'm putting myself personally on the record. My nuts are in the ringer every day that I get in front of a camera. No one trades the penny stock market better than I do. It's days like this that you go all in, as I did. If you're inside the Discord, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I am personally putting my nuts on the line. You're going to see me lose half my body weight in terms of fat over the next 2 or 3 months. By the time I turn 54, April 13th, I will be down 20 or 30 pounds. A good friend of mine that I went to high school with just dropped dead shoveling snow about 4 or 5 days ago. I didn't know him that well. Jab. The fitness model. You may have seen it on TMZ. 50 years old. His girlfriend, fiance said it wasn't suicide. He just had a heart attack or a stroke or whatever it was. Way too many people my age, I'll be 54 in a few months, falling over dead. So I know this is not what you tuned in for, tough fucking shit. But I am personally, and I would encourage you to join me, cutting way back on the booze, the processed food, the fucking sugar. I'm doing 10,000 steps a day minimum, and I'm going to start cranking up the weights. I used to play football in college. I graduated at 212. About 8 months ago, I was high as 265. That's unacceptable. For some of you, it's unacceptable that I was fucking wrong on a stock within minutes. Get used to it. It's going to happen again and again after that. You can't have a fucking 94% win rate ad infinitum. You also can't scream and holler at people and be 250 fucking plus pounds. So the most important thing that I'm actually going to say to you today is I'm getting myself in shape. I would encourage you to do the same because we have got a secular bull market, a fourth industrial revolution that I think is going to last for the next 10 or 12 years. The millennials and the Gen Z, and I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, are twice as large as the boomers. This correlates with 1988 when I graduated college based on the ages of the boomers then and the ages of the millennials and the Gen Zs now in terms of peak earning years. And we all know, or you should know, what happened between 1988 and the dot-com bubble burst in 2000. It was off to the races, minus a blip here and there, especially the back half of the 90s. It was living la vida loca. So the Harry Dents of the world that say we're going down 86% this year, or the JP Morgans that said we're going down 1,000% in the S&P by May, respectfully wrong. I don't see it. This is simply related to interest rates going from 3.9 and change back up to 4. The peak was at 5%. At some point in the next week to 10 days or thereabouts, rates are going to peak again. And then they're going to start to drift back down to, in some cases, calling for as low as 3%. I say 3.5 on the downside. So as goes the 10-year, as goes the S&P and the Dow. The IWM last trade 190 and change is at or near the low. There's a bit of positive divergence there. We peaked at 207 when I was 50% cash, saying the market was overbought. I sat that way for 3 weeks until today, where I started going in, and then I decided, fuck it, I'm going all the way in. And as fate would have it, last trade 072, the good Lord blesses me with what looks like a fucking mistake. Wrong. I would rather get out at 059 and change for 2 reasons in closing. One, I just set the government $78,000. I had so much capital gains again last year, similar to what I had in 22, that I had to part with almost all of my fucking free cash flow, or what you might consider sitting in your checking or savings account. All of it. I'm not some multi-fucking millionaire. I'm a hardworking upper middle class guy that's got, $750,000 when you take my equity and what I have in the stock market in terms of my house. So I'm not swinging 15, 10, 5, $2 million in the market. So I need this loss, and it was a half a position that I got out of at MMAT. But the more important reason, before I get you out of here, hopefully in less than 10 minutes, is I want the cynicism. I want the cherry picking. I want the people that are pissed off at me that I got them out of the stock at 05 and change, last trade 07. I want them. In fact, I want you to do me a favor. Go to trysmallbiz.com and cancel. This is not for you. We only have another 140 openings. 500 strong is the limit. I want people that can take a fucking punch, that are not going to be quitting or fucking getting all negged out every time every trade doesn't go their way. You can't be right 94% of the time forever. There's going to be times, and this won't be the only case, where I get in something and I take it right in the rear end all the way in, up and out the other side almost immediately, or I get out of something only to watch it go up 10, 20, 30%. I need people that understand that as long as you're right the vast majority of time, And as long as you can handle a 20 to 30% drawdown at least a couple of times a year in the stock market with respect to your trading, you can make an absolute bloody fucking fortune. But for all of you, and there's a lot of you in there, and you know who you are, especially those that'll send me a DM because you're embarrassed that you don't want everybody else to see you shit in your fucking pants. It's not for you. It's okay. And I mean this sincerely. As much as I need the money, go to trysmallbiz.com and cancel your account, because this is definitely not for you. So until next time, always remember that I do love you, and thank you so very much for watching.